I can choose it, no? We have the freedom to choose what is surrounding us, no?
Yeah, but because of there are so many choices has been given to us, I think we should take longer time to choose.
Yes, exactly. This is, yeah, exactly.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Current Art Podcast. I'm Yaching. And last week, Annemarie Heydeck, the architect, brought us to a time travel in East Berlin apartment. And this week, we are continuing the topic about architecture, about how do we use the space, how do we build respect and relationship with it, and most importantly, how do we create space inward, like our inner architecture. So stay tuned.
I love architecture because it's really thinking about the space, about the relations in space. And we always have to keep the measures in mind, no? Of anything. When we just put a sink, we put it in a height that the human body can reach the sink very well, no? So it's always related to the human body. It's always related to our size, no? Whatever you do, we have to put the doors, no? We have to put the windows. We have to put the windows in a way that we like to frame something outside, no? And this is always depending on how the human body passes, no? And then, of course, there's the objects and also the walls, and you place them in the space, no? And then you have living room or bedroom, no? And then also, of course, when people pass, no, the circulation is a big topic. You always have to think about how do the people pass, because we're making. You can think when I talk about volumes. Of course, we think in a way that a sculptor might think about it. No, it's a volume. Where do we carve? But then also, it's not the sculpture. Architecture means that people actually go into it. No, we enter. And I think this is very special. And then, of course, another beautiful idea, think about space as dance, I think. No? So these two things I really like, because it's always in the space. I mean, we spend all our life in the space. The most of the time we're inside. And when we're not inside, we pass through the city. And this is where we are, where we exist, where we have our life. No?
I think that you paint a very beautiful pictures about like we passing through different street and different buildings and different hoofs. It feels like the city itself is a large architecture. That we are always inside. We never go outside. Because where is outside, there's no, really you see like non-human lived place, non-human lived area.
Yeah, I mean, now we say Germany is completely cultivated. Every forest belongs to someone. Every forest is maintained by someone. If you think it's, this is, of course, so we also have to, I think the problem for us is now that we have, I mean, we're a rich country, there's money, we can make projects, we have technologies, we have knowledge. We can build anything we want and everything is kind of owned by someone. So it's difficult times in a way to think, okay, we leave this untouched. Or we put the smaller table, not the bigger one. I think maybe it's time to step back one step and think about, okay, I have this big room, but I don't need to fill it.
Interesting.
Right? Same thing with food. No, we can eat. Most of the time when we go to a nice restaurant, we eat for 120%. We solve stuff. But actually we don't need, no? Maybe the city is the same. Maybe we need to think about all the buildings. It's also about architecture. I think this is one thing I really like is the architecture is always public. And I mean, I have also many artist friends, and when they get to build like a installation, the public space in front of the museum, they're so happy because it's outside.
Yeah.
For us, it's always outside because we place it in the city, right? So everybody can pass, no? Your first boyfriend, your first kiss in front of this building, no, at the corner. Then when you see this building, you will think of your first kiss, no?
Denkmal, a
So,
monument.
but in a way, there's like, I feel that there's so many things are stored, no, in these layers of time and built environment. There's I think it was Gordon Matta Clark. I mean, he was also trained as an architect, no? And then he became an artist, and he started to cut off like big holes, no, in the buildings in New York, you know. And he said once, like, in every apartment, wherever we go, we leave one layer of our skin particles, no, when we live there, no. And this is how also the buildings, they also keep our memory, no, of us. No, in Europe we put the nameplate. This is where the philosopher lived. Boom. This is where Kant lived. This is where Goethe lived. No, and this is how it builds up in layers of time and people, and the people making the city. Of course, we as an architect, we build, we construct, we repair, we demolish. We have to decide. But then there's also the people who live there and add their memories and the experience. And architect, we love. You say, okay, keep it like this, make it gray, don't make weird colors. And the people, they paint crazy colors. And we're like, oh, but this is also part of the story, you know?
Yeah, that people add another layer of skin.
Yes, and this is all like I think it's like a box of our existence, of our memory, you know? This is our living, like the environment we live in. You know?
That's a very rational but also very emotional approach to look at the city.
Yeah, but I think it's, this is a bit what I feel now. I mean, in architecture, many things are changing, and of course, we have now the tools we have now. No, not only building materials, but also the programs we use. No, we have 3D technology, but also like now we are working with programs as Revit or BIM processes where we have a lot of tools already set to make everything more efficient. And I guess now we're very fast to build up a building. No, we're very concentrated because we have to take care of the budget. And in the older times, I mean, imagine if you look at some of the facades in Europe, you just pass by and there's so crazy details. I mean, the person who had made it, he must have been sitting there for a couple of months to make the facade, no?
Yeah.
And now this is kind of becoming more flat and more, it's a bit...
I often think about this, why travel in Italy, for example, especially I visited Turin this summer, Torino, and then that city was one of the capital in Savoy Empire. And so the city itself filled out with the Liberty style architecture. And you go inside of the city, you just being overwhelmed with how much details there are actually on the surface of the architect, on the facade of the architect. And you're thinking about that's actually a symbolize like some sort of like artifact, but also the time passes of those craftsmen and craftwomen and sitting like on the shelf or sitting up like somewhere and then like really carving into the stones and leave the traces. And
I remember I had a professor in Paris. I studied in Paris, and then he took us one day per week outside into the city, and he made us look at this facade. And Paris is very proud of its facade, this homogeneous overall like unit. It's it's not as mixed and like this weird mixture like Berlin, but very well kept. But then he made us look at it, and he really showed us how to distinguish the facade from 1550 to a facade from 1620. You can read 500 years in the facade. And this is quite impressive, I found. Of course, it doesn't mean that we should go back and make little figures everywhere again or something like this. No, this is something, I think this is not what we want now. We are more we had new ways and new traditions, no, like the Bauhaus movement. But we have to take care, I think, that we don't misunderstand these movements because they had this big disruption, no, with the world wars, and this is also the point where knowledge was partly lost, no, and then we had to restart again, and now we really have to make sure not to misunderstand that a simple minimalist style means we just put a wall and it's just like this and the windows are somewhere, you know. It means like actually a lot of thinking to make it really aesthetically working, you know.
Like aesthetically working together with the old building.
No, just at itself, no? When we have to fulfill, like, when we have to fill in one plot now and we don't make this, you know, in the old days, I think there was also many painters who also thought about the facades, and then they had these little figures and they look so cute and European, no? Historically important. And of course, we don't do this in this way anymore, no? We don't put any flowers or angels anymore on the facade. We make it very more flat, and we have different ways to arrange the facade these days in design. But it doesn't mean that we can just do anything, no? You know, we have to be careful that on this vision we don't end up in something completely investor-driven, anonymous way, you know, because also these facades now mean a lot of meaning now on the budgets, of course, on the time the construction takes. But I mean, we hope that we keep these buildings again, no? I mean, we don't want to demolish them after 20 years, no, or 30 years. We have to take care to make them last at least 80 years. And it's the standard I think in Germany. And then I think the only point is about if you make a commercial building. I mean, this is a big problem, I think, everywhere in the world now. We make commercial buildings, budget driven. And do the people really want to live in this building? Do they really love this apartment where they live? Is this really something they say, we want to maintain this and repair for another 200 years, that maybe it can stay for 200 years or 300 years? Because Alpa can do it, right? In Paris, you have buildings easily 300, 500 years old. But we don't have this attitude right now. I think many people think, okay, I'm building this now, I want to rent out, I want to sell, and then I don't care anymore. But I think we really need to think about the future generation. We have to hand it over, make sure that they get something from us, no? That they feel we also love this. Because this is what we receive here now. No, we live in a built heritage. We walk through the cities all given by our previous generations, and we have to, if we love the place, we feel I will repair, I will maintain, and I will leave my layer of something new, no?
That's actually reminds me of like the relationship between generations. I think there is a tendency, like where we go into a place right now, we have a shorter like relationship or faster relationship with that space.
With everything, probably, you know?
Yeah, with everything. Also, I feel like people don't spend so much time walking on the street. As you said, like why the old buildings were built like that, because people have more time walking and then...
Yeah, I don't know if they had more time, but I mean, the people were really like also proud to show respect. No, in the old days, old manufacturer buildings, they were beautiful, no? Because the factory owner, he wanted to show, I have money, I'm successful. You know?
Yeah.
And this is a pity now that people think just cheap, I put a box, whatever. You know, I mean, this is...
So my last question would be, I wonder, how do we, in when we are right now living in this fast-paced lifestyle, have this building surround us, how do we actually start to reconnect with the past, start to slow down a little bit, to be able to even feel this connection again with the last generation or last person who have lived in these places?
Difficult question, no? I mean, everybody's looking for it, no? Doing yoga or meditation. Personally, I really like to, I don't know, all possibilities open. So you have to choose from everything, no? So it's a big responsibility. And I think the only way is to slow down. I really try to find the pieces that I really like, or the things. I mean, when we become older, no, we also collect friends, and some people we lose, and then we find friends that stay, and it's not everything is always dynamic in a way, no, but we collect also things that should stay for a long time. And with the same thing is with the flat. Now, if I think I have found a flat where I can imagine, okay, I want to stay here, then I get to know the neighbors. No, I go to the shop close to here that because I want this shop to be here, not to stay as this. And I will also invite my friends to come here, no? And I add my layer to this part of the city. And the same is with the all the objects, no, I live with. The people I live with, the objects I live with, all of it, no, is I can choose it, no? We have the freedom to choose what is surrounding us, no?
Yeah, but because of there are so many choices has been given to us, I think we should take longer time to choose.
Yes, exactly. This is exactly.
Because there's 100 yoga studio around me and they all look the same. I'm not satisfied with one, even one of them.
And it's the same thing. I think if you buy, if you buy furniture, it's the same thing. Maybe you take more time until you really feel this is really what I want. This is it. This is my sofa. This is my lamp. This is it. Because if you look for all the things that surround you, you will find a million of these things. You say, oh, I like it. It's nice. Okay. But it's not the piece that you really, really want to stay with you for 30 years, no?
Yes, that's
But
true.
when you meet something, when you find a job that really hits you, when you meet a person that is really inspiring, no?
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know, but maybe it's this kind of belly feeling that we kind of, maybe it's a bit, not losing, but which is a bit, because it's so noisy, we always look on the phone, no, we're always busy. So maybe the belly feeling is a bit
lost.
Yeah, a bit like you have to take a little shovel and try to find it back again. Really sense the things that we really need, no? And take the time to say, okay, until I find the right lamp for my living room or for my bedroom, I wake up every morning, I look at it, no? You know? And
You have
to take time.
Yeah, and you have to actually stand it. That corner stays empty for
exactly. And this
amount
is
of time.
and this is actually also what I discovered moving into this flat, because I always moved many times and I never really felt rested. This time I stayed 2 years without lamp in this room, the other room, because I just didn't find it. At the moment this came, boom, I want to buy it. Now I have a pink chandelier. or this bubble lamp which I love so much. And I feel it's finished like this, and I don't have a need anymore to look for anything new. I don't know. And I mean, this might sound very materialistic, but I really like to look at the color, at the light, at the shape, and to have the atmosphere, to relax in the evening, And I think all the relations we have is all the same. No, is some respect for the things, that we don't throw them out after 1 year, that maybe we also keep them. I mean, if we buy a pet, we shouldn't kick it out after 1 year. No? And all the things are made from resources in the end, no? All the things are made, I mean, there's chemistry, you have a table, no? There's elements, and this is what our world is made of. So it's clear now, if we always destroy and you can recycle or not, it's not so good if everybody does that. But it's just maybe to have also respect for the things that they're made. I mean, somebody sat down and thought about what it should look like, what it should be produced of. Some people producing the material, there's a lot of work to make a lamp like this, and so much knowledge about like manufacturing chrome element or make a bubble shape in this thin glass, and it takes really time and knowledge. And I think it's the key is like if we have something that we can really appreciate, then maybe we stick to it. And I wanted to clean, and I broke one of these lamps, and I opened up hell to get a new lamp of this, and I contact the company. Sorry, I dropped one of the bulbs. Please send me a new one, because I love the lamp so much. So I don't know. I think just that we should really love our environment, so that we are ambitious enough that we know, I want to keep this lamp, this apartment, the wooden flooring, my friend, my family, no?
It's interesting. As long as we love it enough, then we will not destroy it. Then we will always repair it. But then we have to find the things that really can build a long-term relationship with.
I mean, this is my personal opinion only, so, but I really believe that, because if I mean, and it's true, I mean, as artists or architect, we have education that we really we know how to read the form, no, or the material, and this is giving me so much in my life. I can look at the tree and I say, oh, it's beautiful, and it's the same, I can recognize. And if you don't have this, I just always feel it's a pity that we don't teach the kids in school more about the city, for example. Just rough, maybe it's some period in the school they have a walk through the city and they look at the city, how the city works, that there's facades and parks, that the city needs a park and no, just that they can read the environment. I have the feeling that we cannot read, or many people, they never learn to read their environment. And this is completely crazy, no? Because we learn mathematics, we learn physics, all kind of things, but we cannot read the space. You have to go to university, you have to be the nerdy, weird person in university, no? To sense. And beauty is not because of because only of a shape, but it's because of something authentic, no?
Beauty is something not about aesthetic, but also about how much respect, how much value we have been put into it.
Yes, exactly. It's all the process, the outcome. And I think this is reflected in everything. You can see if somebody is dedicated to what he did. And I think if you can cherish this ambition, it's nice, it's good. And then, of course, if people start to see, this is what we got, what we have, what was given previous generation, this is what we keep, what we prepare, maintain, repair, or we don't need it anymore, we abolish, or we add, or we fill in a new corner. We can decide, but I think we just should step back one moment and think about it. Because we can. No?
That's a very beautiful saying. It's like we should not fill out the loch, the empty spaces, all at once. I think we also have to leave the space for the next generation. They also have their things they want to put it in, and also we want to observe, we want to understand it before we actually take an action.
Yeah. Because, as an architect, it would be very, very sad if we said, okay, these people, said, oh, the city is already built. We don't need no more building. But then meanwhile, of course, many people are entering the city. In Berlin, clearly we need more flats. No? So we need to build as well. But then, I mean, we want to build as an architect. No? We want to build, but we also have to keep in mind we have a big responsibility, no? Because this stays for not the time of exhibition, but for 80 years.
Longer.
No, longer than we are alive. So we have to keep going with the client, many project partners, and also have to hope for understanding. People are open, no? And I think this is a problem, no? Because as architect you rely on your client, no? And if the client says no, one more apartment in this building, we want the square meters, we want to sell it, it's very expensive, city center. We live in a difficult time, I think.
Yeah, of course, we think about the clients, but then we also think about who will live in that place. Like, we imagine the future when we build the space.
Yeah, but this is actually interesting, I think. As an architect, for us, the building is like a baby, I think, no? We wait that the baby will be born, we plan everything, no? We plan whenever you make even the smallest project, it takes 2 years, no? And then it can end up being 15 years, no? So average projects span 5 years, so we're so like planning every detail, no? And then finally we hand it, everything is finished, and then it starts. Because then the people move in. No? This is crazy. No? So I think,
That's so interesting.
yeah, but I just think we have to. It's the same like in art, no? If you make an artwork, what do you want to do? I mean, what is the job of an artist? I think somewhere you have to move the people, no? You have to touch them in a way, no? Make some contact, no? That they stand still, and at least when they walk through the exhibition, you want them to stop and look at what you did, no? So,
I guess
the same, no? We have to touch the people, no? Otherwise, they pass by and they will forget and demolish. And then we have a big sustainable-wise, like a big... It's a big challenge, no? To master climate change and all the resources. Because clearly it's a bit it's tremendously out of balance right now.
I guess I think most of the subjects should work together. Because only in that way that we can connect dots together. We can connect art and architecture together. And it's like a renaissance, right?
Yeah, it would be an interesting question what kind of era we are living now. I think right now we're looking we're a bit lost now on the big topics we have. We have 2 wars quite close. We have resource problems. We have climate change. And I think right now people are rather tense and wondering which way to go. And this is also getting imprinted in the city. In Berlin, you can already see the decisions that are made, you know. So...
Yeah. I guess the thing is, we shouldn't establish every relationship to money, because I think that was in a huge part of the education system in China too. Like, you establish very early on this relationship with computation, with notes. Because with good notes, you can get good job. With good job, then you can get good money. So this kind of education system or this kind of thinking system would not help us to build a city or a living place that could last. Because that's a very cold, like, inhuman relationship that we go into the world. We have to think about, what is my relationship with this table? What is my relationship with the wall? What's my relationship with the wood? And then we have to kind of putting ourselves in a human position, but not in a machine position, you know? Because if we are human, that all of our body, all of our skin and hair and everything is connected somehow to the system. But when we are a machine, we are just working, we connect with the money, and then...
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of problem now with burnout, depression, and all this stuff, no? So I just think that if it's a big scale, like a city scale or the small scale, my bedroom, if I sleep 8 hours per day in one room, why not take time and put the color I like, the lamp I like? You know, I can just that I feel well because I sleep there every day, 8 hours. I spend how many 12 hours per day in my apartment, 8 hours somewhere else. And why not think about the places where we eat, where we sleep, where we meet?
That's true. Because something that is worth investing, is something that would connect with your body, like it gives you energy even though when you're unconscious.
Yeah,
and we
for sure.
need something that gives us energy but not consume our energy when we are unconscious.
Yeah, I mean, it's also, of course, remember when I was a student, like I always lived in a small room, and then I also went a lot abroad, and I never had so many things, no, and still I don't think I have so many things. It's okay, but then of course when you start to buy just a dishwasher and you have a washing machine, and then the more things you buy and you have, the more worried you are, no? Because when your dishwasher is broken, you have to repair the dishwasher, and when the every piece, no? So I think it's easier to have a bit less, then you don't have to worry so much about all the things. But the things you choose, better choose a good quality, because then, and also something that makes you like having fun, no?
That's true.
No,
it's
like-
also related to different stages of life, definitely. I think as a student or as a person who is constantly moving, I couldn't even start to think about planning what will happen next 10 years. So my relationship towards my environment is fluid. It's constantly changing. So it's harder to build up things. But then we can we can still use that time to get to know ourselves. We can start to build the things that inward. Because
then you get something you can take with you, no?
because in order to build the things outwards, we have to start to find the connection inward, that you know what you like when the things comes in front of your eyes. I like that, and then you can say that to yourself. I like that material, I like that person, I like that job. But you have to build something inward first.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's much about, I would say reading books and be inspired and listen to people, no?
Yeah.
Ask questions.
Yeah, that's why we have this podcast.
And try other things, no? Then you go to yoga studio, and then you go to the other studio and find out what you like, and then you become more precise, no?
That's true.
Finding yourself.
That's true. We are finding ourselves actually not with ourselves, but with all of other people.
Yeah, everything, I think so.
That's why I'm having a guest speaker each week. Thank you so much. This is so inspiring, I think. I like when we start from this apartment, then we take a tour, of course, a visual tour towards the city through east and west, even go back to the time, to the Kaiser, to the king, to the poison.
Don't take it too seriously.
And then we come back
my
again.
personal opinion only,
No, but the time travel is beautiful. The time travel, it's helped us to locate where we are in the history. And then we can think ahead of time, like what will our future be like? And that is something very beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for coming back to Berlin. I hope you visit us more often.
Okay, thank you so much for listening and watching. I will see you every Sunday at 10 a.m. We are available on YouTube Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Pocket Podcasts. See you. Ciao, ciao.